Sorry?
This is our new assistant, Patrick Collins.
Okay, Patrick, yeah, sorry, okay. And then we have, for our building inspector, Frank Boran, and we also have Frank LaFlamme, and from our department, we have Agnes, okay? All right?
We have to declare who's participating remotely.
Okay, and remotely, looks like we have Counselor Lopez, we have Counselor Corshane, Counselor Krampus. Is there anybody else
Tilton is on there, I think.
that we have?
I think Jimmy's on there.
How come we can't see your name?
Jimmy, you on there?
Him in a corner.
That's in the corner, is a, well, I guess, we can mention, Counselor Tillotson. Okay. All right, I think I got everybody. Sorry for the miscue, Lee. Okay. All right, in compliance with the open meeting law, this meeting is, both being audio and video recorded. Is anyone else in the audience either audio or video recording? If so, please state your name and the reason for recording. Okay, we will move on. Okay, we have some housekeeping procedures. When speaking, public input comments, please address the chair. Please state your name and address when speaking. Limit your input to 3 minutes or less. There will be no discussions on collective bargaining, issues, personalities, or personal attacks. Okay.
Phone's on vibrate.
Oh, and if anybody has their cell phones, could you make sure that they're on vibrate too, please, so we don't get any extra chatter? Yeah, thank you. Okay. We debated about having the meeting today, but Mother Nature held off. So if anybody's crabby or in a bad mood, don't blame me, okay? All right, we're gonna move on with the agenda for tonight. We don't have a big agenda. We have 5 items. Actually, item number 6 is the minutes, but I think we're gonna take one of them out of order.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to take item 4 out of order and move it up to the number 1 spot.
Okay, all right. Agnes, could we take the roll on that, please? Roll call.
Pelletier,
Yes.
Hushain,
Yes.
Costello. Yes. Lopez,
Yes.
Zagorowski.
Yes.
LaBrie.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You have to have a second.
I don't think
You can second.
all right, I'll second that.
Second.
Okay, all right. I'll read item number 4. This is a special permit under chapter 275, section 52, subsection B3, for the purpose of garage as principal structure located at 19 Dale Street. The applicant is Stephen Gardner, 19 Dale Street, Chicopee, Mass. 01020. All right. Stephen, could you come up to the microphone? And actually, this was given to me from the health department. This was put in the mail. I don't know if you got this. So I'm a business viewer as well, so you're familiar with that. That's in the mail. Right? That was just presented to me just a couple minutes ago as well. Okay? Sure. All right, so please state your name and address and what your proposal is for this evening, please. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I'm Stephen Gardner, 63-year Chicopee resident, veteran of the Iraq War. And what I'm here for today is, a couple of years ago, I have a 2-family house, but I was the only one living in it with my dog.
Okay.
I have a half-acre. I says, well, you know, I'm gonna downsize. I get a deal on taxes in the city of Chicopee because I'm a combat veteran. I appreciate it. And the thing is I said, well, I'm gonna downsize, you know. So I put in the permits and all that stuff, and I tore it down. I had Western Mass Demolition tear it down. And right around that time is when COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of threw a wrench in the operation. But no matter what, with my Army training, I'm gonna go forward. Okay? So, then everything doubled in price. 2x4s, nails, gasoline, everything. So put a hold on everything. I'm a retired guy. Okay? So then, he says, well, I need to have a light illuminating my property. So I asked TLD, and they put up a pole, they put up a light, and my area is illuminated. I'm a little more comfortable with that. But I got stolen from after I didn't have electricity because I had cameras here that I could go online and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now I don't have the electricity. I got my ATV stolen, $13,000. Couple other things stolen, my generator. I says, okay, so I went out and I invested $1,000 on game cameras, and I can look at them on my phone. I don't have any electricity. I had the sewer, the water, the gas, the electric cut off, and all that other stuff. So what I want to do is get electric to the garage.
Okay.
Okay, you can have electric to the garage. Put in the conduit. I put up the board to put a meter on, all that other stuff. I put a snake in with a pull cord and the conduit and all that. And then I found out through the grapevine, you dig into stuff enough, that I have to tear my garage down. And I'm going like, huh? There's always hidden things there and books, you know, but I'm not into that kind of stuff. I'm old school. Well, I can't have it as a primary structure, the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wouldn't have been a primary structure if I was gonna build a house, but it just happened to be I can't build a house now because of the cost. I will, but not right now. So he says, okay, you can't have electric, you can't have a primary, this as your primary structure in the city of Chicopee. I says, okay, I flew this area in helicopters, I know every square inch of Chicopee. Don't tell me that I can't have something when other people have it. I don't put up with that. So I went around town and found out garages in the city of Chicopee that have electric service to them with no house attached to them. So he says, okay. So I don't like playing dirty pool, but I'll have to bring that up at the meeting. And so my primary one, which interested me the most, was up by Central Street by the rumble seat.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, because I know that area. And there was a house torn down, and there was a garage there, standing by itself, and there's electric going to it. It has a mayor view sign in where the house was. Okay, so I dug into it. Who's the next door neighbor of this person that can have this, but I can't? Former Mayor Mike Bissonette. Really? So, do I have to know somebody to have the same thing he has? I paid my dues. While everybody was sleeping at home, I was there in the beginning of war. I paid my dues. To have to put up with a bunch of crap, saying you can't do this, can't do it. You know how I survive every day? I'm a mechanic. I walk in the woods every single day with my dog, every day. And I try not to get shook up. But this really burns me. And what I need to survive is my garage. Whether I build birdhouses, work on my snowmobile, my lawnmower, my generator, that's all I ask. I don't want to tear it down, even though it says I'm supposed to. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
So if I tear it down, people go, oh, I'll give you $200,000 for it. No, sorry. I keep busy in that yard every day. And you know it, and I know it, everybody sees me. And there's people in Aldenville that don't like me. I don't bother them, but they bother me. I've been living there for 32 years. All of a sudden, there's people come out of the woodwork. Okay, what are you gonna do? I had to come up with excuses. Well, Amazon's gonna buy it, they're gonna put a helipad here. Oh my God, really? So that went away after a while. People stopped bothering me. But there's a person in this room and the funeral home next door that is totally against me. But they don't understand what I went through during this war to keep busy in my life, to be an outstanding citizen, which I go above and beyond in this town, to have people fighting against me because I'm out on my lawn tractor, towing things around, leveling up all my dirt, keeping busy every day, planting flowers, planting trees, feeding the birds, all this other stuff. Then I get this, that you just gave me. Sorted debris in yard, cooler, wheelbarrow, machine parts, rusted blue vehicle. I got my army truck there. I'm guessing people don't like army trucks. They probably got thrown out of the military or whatever. So that's one strike against me. You can go around this entire town, especially Willimantic, and see horrible things happening. And they're busting my chops. I pay my taxes, my insurance, everything. And I know a lot of people, but guess what? I don't need no help from anybody. Okay?
All right.
That's it. You have any questions?
Yes, yeah, one question, and then I'll let you sit, and I'm gonna read some things into the record, and then we're gonna have some people speak, okay?
Okay, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
let me ask you, sir, you talked about building another house on the property,
Yes,
correct?
Yes,
And-
that's my goal.
Okay, can I ask you, what particular style? Can you just give us some specifics?
One family, one floor, no cellar, no attic, enough for me and my dog.
Okay, so would it be sort of like a ranch style?
I guess so. I don't know what ranch styles are, so.
Well, okay, so, well, basically, that's,
Bathroom, a kitchen, living room, bedroom,
okay, so basically, sir, that,
very simple.
right, that's one level, it's a single-family house, you may have a basement,
I
you
don't
could,
want a basement.
okay, so maybe then you would put on a slab, but it's not like a colonial that probably have like two
Right,
floors.
right.
Okay, all right, okay, Steve, could you have a seat, please? I gotta read this into the record, and then some people are gonna have some questions and comments, okay? So,
Now, will I have to come up again and answer the questions? I
um,
don't have any problem.
yeah, no, probably, but if we can just kind of have this procedure, just so that, you presented what you were telling us, what your proposal is. Then in turn, I just have to read some reports into the record.
Okay, well, the thing is, I don't wanna take up, I know there's a lot of important things going on here tonight. I got pictures of all the properties. Anybody wants to see them, I made enough copies for everybody. I'm not talking BS here, of what I've seen in Chicopee pertaining to what I'm going through right now.
Okay, all right, great.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Have a seat, and we'll just, thank you for your comments. And, I'll just read some stuff into the record here. Okay, so, Steve gave his presentation, was telling us what his proposal is. I know that there are some questions, there's some comments, but just bear with me so I can enter a couple of things into the record, and then we'll kind of go around the room. Thank you. Okay, as I said, we have some department forms, department records. Is that? Okay, we're all set, Jerry? Okay, all right. Okay, I have a report from, Planning and Development. This is regarding. Okay, do we need to hold off, Jerry?
Howard.
Yeah.
Should be back on.
Okay, we're good?
We're good.
Okay, thanks, Jerry. Okay, sorry, folks, we'll move on. Okay, this is, from Department of Planning and Development. This is, a letter written to me, a special permit recommendation for 19 Dale Street. House for Balakir, property is split zone, frontage on Dale Street is zone business A with the remainder of the property zone residential A. Existing garage is located on the residential A portion of the property. This garage was a legal accessory structure prior to demolition of the residential structure that existed on the property.
Dan wants to make sure that they can hear us.
Okay, all right, okay, well, they should be here, okay, all right, unless they're ill. All right, I'm gonna continue. Since there's no longer a house on the property, the garage is no longer considered an accessory structure and requires a special permit under Chapter 275, Section 52, subsection B3. Planning is unaware of the reasons for demolition of the residential structure, nor the applicant's future plans for the property. Planning generally does not suggest approval of such requests without an understanding of when/if a legal primary use is to be established. Planning is concerned regarding the possibility of the garage being utilized as a residential unit. Okay, so that's from planning. Oh, yeah, this is a mic. Yeah, I think I'm being loud enough. Okay. This is, from building, and here's some recommendations. Again, regarding 19 Dale Street garage's principal structure. And here, I'll read this into the record. I don't recommend a meter be, installed on the garage without a principal structure. Ask the owner what his plans are with the property. And then this is from engineering. Application is unclear. Is there a garage to be built? Is the existing garage to remain? Any site work will require further review from this department, either through the SPRAC process or building department checklist. And then we have, a couple more comments here. I have one from the health department. It says, health department has received complaints regarding the condition of the yard, such as mounds of dirt and machinery. We have another report here from the fire department. A garage is an accessory structure, cannot be a principal structure. Comments from the fire department. And then I'm just going to read, an update which I gave to Steve, which was also just given to me, so I haven't read this. This is dated January 24th, 2023, from the Health Department. An inspection of your property located at 19 Dale Street, Chicopee, Mass. On January 10th, 2023 disclosed the following. Section 410.602, assorted debris in yard, which includes but not limited to a cooler, wheelbarrow, machine parts, rusted blue vehicle, other vehicles. You are hereby ordered to abate the nuisance and violations listed above on or before February 20th, 23. A reinspection will be made on that date. Authority for this action under State Sanitary Code 105, section in brackets 410.602. And there's a reference here what this particular citation is, land. And I'll just read this again into the record. The owner of any parcel of land, vacant or otherwise, shall be responsible for maintaining such parcel of land in a clean and sanitary condition, free from garbage, rubbish, or other refuse. The owner of such parcel of land shall correct any condition caused by or on such appurtenance which affects the health or safety and well-being of the occupants of any dwelling or of the general public. And let me see, there might be one other item here. Bear with me, there's some paperwork here. Okay, and this is from the collector's office, and there are no remarks. Okay, all right, what I'd like to do next is I would like to get some comments from some of our further comments, from our some of our either building department or from our planning department, and then we'll let the counselors, jump in.
The public.
And also the public, if we have issues from the public. Okay, Lee, go ahead. I did get your, note, and I read that, so I'm not sure if there's something else you might want to add or bring up at this point, but go ahead. Floor is yours.
Sure, thank you. I would just expand on what our zoning language says in particular to this property with regard to, accessory structures, particularly garages and what's allowed. So this property is split zone, a small portion of the frontage is within a business A district, and then the vast majority of the parcel is residential A. The garage fits in the residential A portion of the property. The house that was demolished sat predominantly in the business A portion of the property. Under our zoning regulations for residential A districts, a garage that is not accessory to a primary use, which in this case would be a single-family home, requires a special permit. In my time here, I have seen the council, offer, or grant those special permits on a limited basis. The most recent example that comes to mind is on a large, piece of property on Van Horn and Moore Street that was subdivided. I believe the council granted a special permit there, with the understanding that the parcel, the newly created parcel that would have the garage, was to be marketed for sale for the construction of a single-family home, and that marketing is underway. I spoke to a potential buyer in the last couple of weeks, that is looking to build on it. But I have not seen the council grant a special permit in this situation on a more permanent basis. That is not to say that they don't exist as nonconformities throughout the city or illegal situations, but generally speaking, a garage as a principal structure is not allowed without a special permit in residential areas.
Okay, thank you, Lee. Does your assistant have some comments as well?
He's learning.
Okay, he's learning. Okay, all right. Okay, Frank Moron from the building.
Department. I think what my comment says, and I think, Mr. Gardner answered our questions of, we just didn't know what the intent of his property's been doing. I think he summed it up. He knocked the house down a couple of years ago. COVID came in, lumber prices went skyrocketed. Us as the building department, like, at least we don't know what his intent is with the property, but I do think that he's, in the future, he's planning on building a single-family home there. We just don't have a time or when he's gonna do that. So we just have concerns about him, putting a meter on the house, or on the garage, and maybe using the property for something else.
Okay, all right, great, thank you, thank you, okay. Anybody from the audience, that would like for public input, please? Okay, please come up to the desk, please state your name, your address, and, your concerns. Again, we're gonna try to limit it for a couple of minutes, please, if we can, all right? Before we open up to the counselors.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Paul Faniff. My principal residence is 95 Atwater Road in Springfield, Massachusetts. I own the property next door, the St. Pierre Faniff Funeral Chapels in Aldenville.
Correct.
And I thank Mr. Gardner for his military service to our country. I think it's very admirable that he did that. However, the property looks like the city dump. And it's adjacent to my property. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. I actually had a family that I knew, they went up to Lucky Strike today to eat. And the lady called me up and she said to me, "Is that your piece of property next to the funeral home?" And I said, "No, it's not." She says, "It looks horrible." And there's all kinds of trash out there. Mr. Gardner,
Okay,
please, whoever it is.
hold on, please. Go ahead, sir.
There's all kinds of junk out there, Mr. Gardner. I mean, this is the first time I've had any interaction with him. And, this is horrible. I pay a lot of money in property tax there. And I had talked to a couple of the city councilors about this, and I'm ready to take the city to court if you don't do something with this.
Okay, hold on, please.
And I don't believe he can build another house on that property with that business zone without getting that property rezoned.
Okay. All right, you're all set?
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks
Please,
so very much.
yep, take, have a seat, please. Was there another person back there, please, that had a comment or concern? Go ahead, sir. Please come to the microphone. Please state your name and address and, what's going on, what your thoughts are. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Matthew Sabat. I reside above the funeral home at 13 Dale Street. I've been there for 17 years, and I too thank Mr. Gardner for his service to the country. I have many family members that serve in the country. I really appreciate what he's done for our country. My concern is with this garage. I've been there for 17 years, and the noise in the evening when he repairs and works on things. I'm not going to speak on the character of him. However, I have approached him in the past slightly and had to step away because of the noise. And it sometimes hasn't been for a little while since he doesn't live in that house, but I'm worried about what he does with that garage if he goes back to working on these motorcycles. And he does this stuff after sunset. This is not, just so you're aware, this is not during the day.
Mm-hmm.
This is starting in the evening into the nighttime. That side of the property where you put up the light, which shines into my children's bedrooms, which is a street light. Good, thank you.
Okay, just
This is my turn on the microphone, please, Mr. Gardner.
right.
Okay, so the light post does shine upstairs in the residence. The noise goes on. And that's what I'm worried about with this garage.
Okay, all right, thank you for your comments. Okay. Is there anybody else in the audience that has some questions or concerns during public input? Okay, let me see if there's anybody on Zoom before I open up to counselors. Is there anybody on Zoom that has questions or concerns from the general audience, the public, the butters, et cetera, regarding 19 Dale Street? Okay, all right. Okay, counselors, Counselor LaBrie.
Yes, I'm the ward counselor, Ward 8, and I've been in that area, in the direct area. I live very close by for 40 years. Over the last 2 or 3 years, I've gotten numerous complaints from people. I've been in touch with the Board of Health, Lisa Sanders. They've gone out and inspected the property. I've never been on the property or near the property, but you know, from the pictures I see tonight, it's worse than I even thought, you know, from what people have explained to me on the telephone. The front yard has got piles of dirt, and he's got an Army vehicle, and, you know, again, I failed to thank him for his service to the country, but I want to tell him I do appreciate his service to the country. I don't know if that's the right place for, you know, an Army vehicle. I know it's not a functional gun turret, or I hope it's not, on the top of that machine. But I have not got any good comments. Nobody's for this. I got a couple emails, a few phone calls from the abutters of the property, and I don't have anybody that's for this, and you know, we may have some around the city that I'm not aware of, but I don't think it's a good idea to give him electricity without a plan of what he's going to do with it. And then he's got to, you know, we have other problem properties in the city, and I think, you know, that has to be addressed. From what I see, you know, hanging around, you know, that's not, you know, somebody can see that from any window from where they live. It's not a nice sight, and it brings down other people's values of their properties. So that's about all I got to say. I just don't have anybody that's come forward and told me that, hey, you know, that'd be a great idea that he puts a garage, that he keeps a garage on that property. So I'm not going to be for this tonight.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, also, Counselor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Counselor Zagorowski, go ahead,
Yeah,
sir.
I don't know how to, I'm gonna try to address this properly to Mr. Gardner without upsetting the whole place. Thank you for your service also.
You're welcome, sir.
How long has this been vacant? How long has your property been vacant now?
So how long is it I've been doing this?
No, how long has it been vacant, empty?
Since,
Three.
December of 2020. Couple of years,
Couple of years.
even
Couple
when
years.
COVID started.
Okay.
All right.
Now, how long before you're actually thinking of building something on there?
Well, I thought of this probably the day after.
Can you come up to the mic?
Oh,
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
It's not working.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. He just.
Yep. go ahead, Jim, sorry.
Yeah, so, when COVID started, whatever that was, that's when I had the house torn down and had it all figured out. And then I'm a loyal Home Depot customer, and things got out of whack crazy. And so I live on the, month to month. I'm not employed, I'm retired. And so the thing is if people wanna say things bad about me, they don't appreciate it. You come to my face and talk to me, not behind the, walls or in meetings and stuff. I appreciate if you, or both of you guys, came and talked to me, but I don't think you're man enough to do it.
All right, we're not after that.
Okay,
Okay, so did I answer your question?
Well, to some degree,
You got
but,
more questions, ask me.
yeah, I'm asking them.
go ahead.
Give me a
You
chance.
gotta understand,
You-
you know what I'm going through
I
here.
understand to some degree, but it's been vacant for almost 2 years now, 3 years?
Okay, so everything has doubled in price. Everything.
But how long do you plan, you can't give us a date, you're gonna build it in 5 years from now, 2 years from now?
Well, you tell me when lumber's gonna come down, and then I'll give you an answer.
Well, what if it never comes down, you're never gonna build on it? You can't build without a
Railroad's
special
coming
permit.
to an end. We don't have to worry about that,
What?
okay?
Okay, I just wanna address,
I can't predict it.
I just wanna, I'm
You're just trying to
concerned.
get a feel on me, I understand. The facts are, we had COVID, everything doubled and tripled in price, and now everybody's against me. People coming out of the woodwork, can't say anything good about me. But what happened when I was in the middle of Iraq and Baghdad in March of '03? Did you love me then? Yeah, you did. You know why? Because nobody was banging on the door to cut your head off. Okay?
All right,
Now, all of a sudden, you're coming after me because I want to keep busy in my yard. All of this trash, bullshit, trash.
Well,
You're kidding me? A cooler in my
okay,
yard?
you answered us now, that's enough, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, it's enough. Now, the other issue with the light pole into somebody's residence, you contact the electric light department, they have ways to get in that light not facing that
Well,
home.
then how to do it?
Well, no, that's up to you as the resident owner of that property. You can just talk to the electric light department. They've done it for us in other properties, business and everything else. I'm just trying to help you on that part of it.
Well, I
But
understand
on the
that.
other lotion, I've gone by there, the place does look like a dump. So it needs to be
Really,
cleaned up.
My RV
Thank
truck
you.
and my trailer is
Yeah.
registered and it's insured.
Okay. All right, I don't have no more.
Okay, all right, okay.
That's it.
Counselor Flam, do you have some questions? Okay,
All set.
all set. Is there anybody on Zoom, counselors, that have questions or concerns? Counselor Lopez, Counselor
I'm all
Crochet?
set, thank you.
All set.
Okay, Ed, okay. Was that Jim in the corner? I can't quite make it out. Okay.
Where's McCullough?
Counselor McAuliffe, are you on? I don't think he's on
Counselor
tonight.
McAuliffe is not on.
Okay, all right, okay. All right,
Just one more thing.
Yes,
I'm not out to hurt anybody's feelings.
okay,
I'm a lover, not a fighter. I was in
okay,
the military for 32 years.
okay,
Do you think I hate everybody? No. I wouldn't have done it for 32 years.
okay,
I got a haircut, I had a job forever, I retired out of the military, I retired out of Verizon. Everything's registered, I pay my insurance, my city taxes, all this, and I'm getting this?
all right,
Sorry.
okay.
That's it.
Thank
All right, Steve, thank you. If you could have a seat, now we're just gonna figure out what we're gonna do, okay? Please, thank you. And again, thank you for your service, we really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, all right. Do we need, what's the consensus of the committee, or do we need a sidebar with with council.
Well, I think, Lee Pouliot, has the ordinance, for the zoning in front of him. I'm not positive, if he could just read it to us so we could hear it. And I just want to make a comment to, Mr. Gardner that, you know, you're the one who filed the, special permit, so we're not going after you. We represent the people. We represent you, we represent everybody else, so, we're not going after you, so I apologize if you think that's the case, but that's not our intent.
Okay.
I think it is.
Okay, hold on, please. All right, go ahead, Lee.
Sure, so the relevant section of the zoning code is chapter 275-52, which is residential A district. Section B refers to special permits. Special permit uses in residential A district which may be granted by the city council shall be as follows. And number 3 is garages and stables which are not accessory uses to the principal structure.
Okay. All right, any further?
I don't have anything further.
I have nothing.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? Who's gonna vote on this?
Well,
No, I mean, where does it go from here, because I've never had to do this before.
okay, interesting question. We're a subcommittee with zoning, okay? So we're gonna try to come up with a decision or a thought process. In turn, this will ultimately go before the full council, next month. I think the first Tuesday is the 7th, is that it? So ultimately, that's where the full jurisdiction is gonna come from. We're a supporting body. We are some counselors as well.
Well, the council meeting forwarded this to the planning or wherever this meeting is. Now it's going back to them?
No, this is going up, okay? So in other words, what we do here, sir, is you file an application, okay? Then in turn, we also get input from our various departments. And in turn, we try to see how we can figure this out. And also, we take in consideration any abutters, any neighbors, if anybody's on Zoom that's not here, and try to see what is the best way that we can figure this out, okay? One of the problems here that I can see is, unfortunately, you don't have a definitive time plan. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, if you said, in the spring, I'm seeing an architect. Okay, but hold on, let me just finish my thought, please, okay? That you had something in place, say, for example, if you said, I'm meeting this architect, we're coming up with a plan, then in turn, we're gonna sit down with building, that would probably help us a little bit more, because otherwise, we're kind of in, for lack of a better term, we're kind of in a no man's zone here. We're not sure, we don't have any time frame.
I'm a one-man show, I don't expect anybody to help me out anywhere.
Well, but you know what? You're also a citizen of the city, okay? So.
I am, and, there's a lot of other people.
Correct,
Citizens.
but,
I love them all.
but what I'm trying to say too is we have building department, we have the planning department, okay? We have to work within certain rules and regulations,
Hey, I'm all about this.
but the building department too, they can be your friend in that you come up with a set of plans and they say, you know, for example, again, hypothetically speaking, you may say, you know what, I like to build a 4-room ranch, okay? Again, for our discussion. But in turn, they might say, you know what, a 5-room might be better because of maybe because of some hobbies you have. You might like to have a computer room, something of that nature. So I'm trying to say that we would like to have something more definitive so that we could work together.
Is that what you want from me?
I think that could be a solution to what's going on here, taking a look at the big picture.
Right, a build date?
If you could come up with a building date,
I can.
okay, but let me ask you this. Maybe at least if we can't come up with a building date, perhaps potentially we could come up with a set of plans, what you may be interested in doing, and if that's something that would work within the confines of zoning and with departments. That may help us as well, because at least we have something to go with, rather than right now, again, for lack of a better term, we're kind of in no man's land. We're not really sure what your next steps are, and in turn, say, for example, if you had a plan to do
I already gave you a plan what I want to do.
well, correct, right? But again, conceptually, what I'm thinking, what you might be thinking could be a little bit different than everybody else here.
You have to have something in paper with my signature stating that blah, 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 so if I don't do it, then you can come back at me.
Well, again, it would be helpful. I'm not saying that we're necessarily gonna come back at
When's
you.
the councilors meeting when this is being voted on?
That's gonna be February 7th. February 7th, the
Well, I'll
first
get it all
Tuesday,
together then.
okay? So,
Write down, because everything's about, paperwork trail, write it down and somehow leave it somewhere so I can get a copy of it, whether at the alderman's meeting or whatever, or at the office downstairs, and somehow get it to me, and then I'll reciprocate and bring that stuff back to you and fulfill my obligations.
well, that could be an alternative. Councilor Flamp, go ahead.
Through our attorney, and, the process of what we're trying to do here right now is this going back and forth. This has to go back to a subcommittee. This cannot be on my full floor of the city council because it's a debatable issue, that can go on. Am I correct?
Right, so if that's the pleasure of the committee to
Right.
postpone to the call of the chair or give him additional information, that's fine. But I think it should be clear to Mr. Graham that that's not gonna be the end-all be-all. That's potentially one consideration of many that the counselors would have if he's got a plan. That's not gonna guarantee that the council is gonna issue the special permit. So we should be clear that that may be helpful, but it may not be definitive. So I don't want him to leave the meeting saying, if I come with a plan, then I'm gonna get the special permit. That's not necessarily the case. That's one thing that a council or a number of councils may consider. But again, a special permit requires 9 votes from the full city council on February 7th, or whenever it actually makes its way there.
I'll do my part. Do my part, that's what you need. I wanna put an offer out on the table. I am willing to sell my property to the funeral home. He said $200,000, I want $400,000. I will go away.
This is kind of getting
You'll
beyond.
never-
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Councilor Flamp, sorry, yes.
So, Dan, thank you for your information, but I'm still concerned on my full board meeting, that this is only one condition, because the condition will be from me especially, my vote would be sending it back to this board again, because that's only one condition, never mind verifying with the planning board again, what his intent is at that point. So my suggestion is the same as our attorney, is, I don't wanna give false information here that, hey, get us a plan, and that we'll probably think about it. That's only one part of the final decision of what we need to do from the planning, because now it has to go back and verify it can fit on that property as well, as everything else, it fits all the conditions. So I would really hope tonight we don't send it as a, to the city council as a recommendation if he brings that in. I prefer to say, let's table it to the call of the chair and get the information back in and call a new meeting on behalf of the city council and this gentleman. So that would be my suggestion. I'm not voting here tonight. I will be voting on the final, but just my own recommendation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilor Flamp. Councilor Bree.
Yeah, there also is some, Board of Health issues that they're gonna re-inspect, so, not only, does he have to come in with a plan, he's gotta, shape up the lot, as far as the health director, is concerned, because they're gonna go out and re-inspect this. So,
Okay, what's the problem? I don't understand.
okay, it's
Can you
in,
read that, the stuff I have in my yard?
what?
Can you read what's on that paper, the discrepancies I have in my house?
There's pictures, okay?
Pictures?
Yeah, and there,
Oh, really?
yes, there's, and you've got, supposedly you've got a copy.
Right.
But, it says here, an inspection of your property located at 19 Dale Street, Chicopee, Mass, on January 10, 2023, disclosed the following. Code 410-602, assorted debris in yard, which includes but not limited to, they're not gonna inventory what's in that picture, but a cooler, wheelbarrow, machine parts, rusted blue vehicle, other vehicles. You are hereby ordered to abate the nuisance and violations listed above on or before February 20th, 2023. A reinspection will be made on that date. Authority for this action under State Sanitary Code 105, referring again to Code 410-602. And then, she's got other reports, from, Health Department. Health Department has received complaints regarding the condition of the yard, such as mounds of dirt and machinery.
That's a building area.
Well, there's nothing being built, but, also,
You live across the street from me?
no, I live on Chop.
You're the one with the lawyer's office? I got that same thing you got.
Right.
No pictures.
Did you get this?
No, I gave that, Steve, to you.
No. Okay, what's wrong with that?
According to the Health Department, that doesn't meet our code.
Which is what?
Clean areas, for
What do you
the
mean clean
public.
areas?
Take it up with the health
It,
department.
you gotta take, yeah, that should be,
Excuse me, we need to.
yeah, and that's an issue with the Health
Excuse me,
Department.
this
Yeah,
is
I don't
not a debatable thing right now.
Right,
Okay.
We need to get back on focus here.
Yeah.
What our intent is
Let's get
tonight.
on focus.
We're
Okay.
not here to debate it all. We have to make a decision here, not based on just the pictures and going back and, we are not here, and correct me if I'm wrong, attorney, we're not the health department speaking on behalf of the health. We are
Right.
only reading what's there. So my recommendation is to have him, again, call the health department, get those,
Right.
Well, I don't have a
Right.
problem with that.
Okay,
I can talk to anybody.
all right, okay,
So that comes from the Health
Chicopee
Department.
High taught me to write.
okay, all right, great, okay. All right, so getting back on track, perhaps what we could do is we can postpone this to the call of the chair, and then what we'll do is, in turn, this gentleman will come to the office with, ideas of what his proposal is and/or a plan, and then in turn, reaching out to the health department, so you could satisfy the issues from the health department, getting in touch with them, and then this way here, we could reconvene next month, and hopefully we have a better understanding and better meeting of the minds as to what we both need to
Well, I
do.
just wanna get this done before it snows out again and it's December again. So this is like not a good positive thing here. Putting it off.
Well, actually, excuse me, sir, this is the first time you've come before this board.
Yes.
So I think in terms of positivity, without necessarily getting into a deep discussion, we're trying to make some progress here.
Sure.
So if you do what we're asking you to do, hopefully then we can come up with a solution so this can go before the full board, get voted on, and then in turn, you have a plan that you can proceed with. So
Okay.
to me,
All right, one more thing, and then I won't bother you guys anymore, you have a lot of business here. I wanna know, via the lawyer in the city of Chicopee, was it legal for somebody to come on my property without my knowledge?
I'm not sure how they obtained the picture, so I can't answer the question, but you can.
Well, I can answer it. Those pictures were taken on my property, and I have the individual on my game cameras.
Possible, again, I just.
If you read the statute, you're not allowed to come on my property unless you give me advance warning.
Again, I don't know the facts, but if you call the law department or the health department, they'll be able to explain how they got on your property, if they got on your property, and why they did that, what gives them legal right to do that. Unfortunately, I just saw those pictures this evening, but we'll get you the.
And it was taken while it was on my property. Do I have a legality to go after this guy? Am I legal to go after whoever was trespassing on my property to take pictures of that?
Sir, I'm not sure who was on your property, you're asking.
Well, I don't appreciate trespassers coming on my property.
okay,
We need to,
okay,
we need to, move forward with this. We're getting on so many.
okay,
And I suggest him go, again, as our attorney said, call the law department and to see the law department. He represents us and as
Right.
the council just said, our council just said, that this information that we just got tonight ourselves, these pictures, and that if
Right.
you believe that, take a snapshot of those pictures and go to the law department, which you can go down, excuse me, on the third floor.
Yeah, you have the floor. Okay, that's
Let
cool,
me
go
finish.
ahead.
Come on. third floor and go to the law department and get those answers. We can't do it tonight.
Okay,
I just want answers while we're here.
okay, all right then, why don't we,
I understand.
okay, so,
I like to talk.
okay, well, I think we ought to at some point, but again, let's just move forward so we can figure this out. Okay, so,
One more thing. What's your first name?
George,
George. One more thing. Do I have to go around and start taking pictures of politicians' houses with trash in them? Do I have to do that?
You know, you're getting away.
okay. No, okay, no, you don't have to, but please, let's just stay on course so we can move on, okay? There's a lot of people waiting.
I'm talking to stay alive here.
I realize that, sir, but everybody else is here, so please, let's just wrap this up. So my suggestion is, a recommendation is, we postpone this to the call of the chair, and in turn, Steve Gardner comes to the office, drops off his proposal, what type of plan he's coming forth with. And in turn, he also has to reach out to the health department in order to rectify the issues that are there.
Yeah, sure.
Is that something that the committee is in agreement? Let me just check with Dan.
Yep, I'm cool with that.
Somebody
I'm
can
cool
make
with
the
that.
motion, it's within the discretion of the
Wait,
committee.
I gotta
You
say
have to
that.
do a motion on that.
I don't,
Okay, but it was a suggestion, but then we'll make a motion.
I think it's a good suggestion, but I don't believe, knowing what's going on at that piece of property, that he's gonna be able to, by our next meeting, to come in with a plan. If he does, it'll be a miracle.
Why do you say that?
I don't think we should have a date of it.
Public
You know.
input is done.
Okay,
Public comment, that's, I just think, you know, we're saying our next zoning meeting, which I'm on zoning, we might have to wait a couple of zoning meetings before he comes in. When he comes in with a full plan, and it's gonna require, numerous things
okay.
to go on.
But let me ask you this, Counselor, okay, our next meeting would probably be scheduled, excuse me, Agnes, is that the 22nd of February, okay? So it's almost a month, all right? It's a little bit less than a month, today's the 25th. But it gives this gentleman an opportunity to come up with a plan of what his proposal is, and in turn, also working with the health department so that he can rectify that situation. I think people in general would be happy if that lot was cleaned up, so at least it was up to code. And then in turn, people would go by and they would say, okay, maybe it looks like this gentleman or this person who's living here is planning on doing some construction. But at least there wouldn't be some other items that would be problematic. All right, because otherwise, what is gonna be your solution to the quagmire that we're in at this
Well,
point?
If he feels he can come in with an exact plan by our next meeting, fine.
Okay,
I just hate to see us locked into that one date, because it's been 2 years, it's been vacant now. It's looked like a dump for about 2-3 years now. So if he can come in by that date with a full plans, not just half plans,
okay,
you know what I mean? You know
all
what I'm
right,
saying?
no, I understand.
I'm not a
Okay,
soldier, I don't
Oh,
do anything
yeah,
half-assed.
okay,
You're done.
no, okay, I understand. This is, hold on, this is just between us, we're just trying to get through so we can finish up.
I appreciate.
Public
what George
input is
doing.
done, sir.
I
Would you please
appreciate
sit
what
down?
George is
Would you
doing.
please sit down, please?
Okay,
Public input is done.
okay, Bob, okay.
I'll listen to George, not you.
Okay, hold on, okay? Let's just wrap it up, guys, okay? So can I get a motion, entertaining,
Very quickly.
well,
If you build a house on that zone, would
Can you,
zone?
can you come up, please, and give your name for
okay, last time, because we're gonna close this, because we gotta move on. We gotta move on.
95 Atwater Road,
Okay.
Springfield, Mass. Can he build on that property with a business A zone? Mr. Poulier could probably answer that question.
Possibly,
That house was grandfathered.
okay?
There are numerous avenues whereas the property could be redeveloped. I need the exact date of when the house was initially demolished, which I can work with Frank on to get. It's also possible to rezone it all residential A. If it's deficient on frontage, that can be addressed in the existing lot. We can look into that and when it was created. So the reality is, yes, it's possible. We would have to determine the appropriate way, to run it through the permitting process.
Okay, all right,
And if you heard the comment that he made, this is basically a shakedown for me to buy that property. and I'm gonna tell him right now, and I'll tell you folks right now, I'll go down to the assessor's office tomorrow, find out what that property is worth, and I'll cut him a check for the property, and bye-bye, he can go away.
100,000.
Okay, okay,
So, guys,
guys, you can have a sidebar after, okay, all right, okay.
so Mr. Chairman, I just want to make sure you also put in there that you said to the health department, but make sure that we have, the planning department right away involved with this. Because you're just gonna have to send it to them anyway, so if we get it to them right away, to the planning and the building department at the same time, so it would be the three of them.
Okay, all right, no, that's good.
Make sure this is noted so I can follow the rules, okay?
Okay, all right, okay. Okay, so,
Wait, can I get a copy from the what?
Want a copy of the tape, you can request a copy of the tape tonight.
Well, not the tape, I mean, what the instructions are for me to go forward.
okay,
Planning.
all right, okay,
Okay, thank you, George.
all right.
All set?
Yeah, well, you can sit, you can have a seat, okay? We're finalizing this so we can just put this together, okay? Please have a seat, thank you, and we're just about ready to lock up, okay?
Just spoke to Dan, he says, hopefully, if he comes in on that date, doesn't have some permit for it.
Well,
It's been
correct.
going for months.
Well, this is, there have been postponements. There have been postponements, okay? So, my thoughts, my ideas are postponed to the call of the chair until the February 22nd, 2023 zoning committee, and also, the requirements of the health department, building department, and, let's see, health, building, and planning, thank you. Planning department, being met, to discuss the proposal, all right?
Let's start first with the plan. Would
If
that
I
be
can
a
make just one
suggestion?
suggestion, if the motion would please be to postpone it till our February 22nd zoning subcommittee meeting to be held here in City Hall at 6:30. That way we don't have to re-advertise because we specifically stated in an open meeting the date and the time of the postponement. So instead of calling the chair for that specific date and time here at City Hall.
Give him
Okay.
a shot, I give him a shot, right?
All right, okay. All right, let me put that on paper and read it then.
George, I think someone else has to make the order, not you, because you have to second it.
Okay, all right, okay.
I make a motion, we postpone it till the 22nd with the understanding that he come forward with a complete plans.
With complete plans,
Right.
and, okay, I think that's fair, and, also, input from the health, planning, and building department, okay? All right, let's see if I can put this out here.
And the inspection's on the 20th, so.
And I will second it. Going to the February. The.
Realizes that
Yo,
we've done postpone.
30.
In a month.
No, on it, so. All right. There's three things that I came up with here with the motion. Postpone to the February 22nd, 2023 zoning subcommittee meeting at Chicopee City Hall at 6:30. In addition, applicant submits building plans to the council office with stated property. And 3, input from the health department, building department, and planning department, conditions to be met. All right. And let's see, it's 1/25, 2023. Okay. Okay, all right, probably should, okay, you want me to read this? See what I wrote.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you just read that.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, well, let me read this into the record, and then we'll do the roll call, then we have to sign this. That's right, there's a different procedure. Okay, I split this into 3 ways. For the motion, postpone to the February 22nd, 2023 zoning subcommittee meeting at Chicopee City Hall at 6:30. Number 2, in addition, applicant submits building plans to the council office with stated property. And number 3, input from the health department, building department, and planning department, conditions to be met. All right, could we get a roll call on this, please, Agnes?
Valakir,
Yes.
Hushain,
Yes.
Pena Costello. Yes. Lopez,
Yes.
Fedorowski.
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Did you mention the 4th floor chambers? Because we're not reposting it, so we should indicate the 4th floor chambers.
Okay, I'll put that caveat in here, thank you. 4th floor chambers. Okay, Gary, all right. All right,
Ask them how they wanna vote on Zoom.
all right.
Oh, they all voted on Zoom, I got it.
So we all voted on Zoom, so we
Yeah.
can just put that in.
Exactly, yep, I'll just get rid of,
Okay, all right. Okay.
Thank you.
Maybe we should have had 2 feet of snow.
Putting off the inevitable.
All right, okay, thank you very much.
Can I get,
Okay, all right, Steve, so, you got a little homework. I'm just gonna read this in. Postpone to the February 22nd, 2023 zoning subcommittee meeting at Chicopee City Hall at 6:30, 4th floor. In addition, the applicant, you're gonna have to submit building plans to the council office with the stated property. And in turn, it's also gonna require input from the health department, building department, and planning department, conditions to be met. Please call the health department in particular. That is paramount, to touch bases with them as to what you need to do with the property.
I'll stop by.
Okay? So I think if you do that, at least we have a path that we can follow. Okay?
I'm paying attention.
All right, excellent.
Hey, hell of a job, I appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you very much. All right, be safe and, good luck. Thank you. Okay. Let me just bear with me. Let me put this here. Okay. All right. Okay, we're gonna go back to our agenda here. Okay, we're gonna go back to,
We need a motion to go back to the regular order of business?
number 1 now, right?
okay, so we're gonna go back to item number 1. Special permit under chapter 275, section 50, C 1 and 2 for the purpose of a new digital sign with dimensional relief. Waiver requested front setback from 25 to plus or minus 1 foot located at 603 New Ludlow Road. The applicant is Jim Carrier, of the Life Point Church, 603 New Ludlow Road, Chicopee, Mass. 01020. Is the applicant here this evening?
Yes.
Okay, all right, sir. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address and what your proposal is for this evening, please. Go ahead,
My
sir.
name is Jim Carrier. I'm a trustee of Life Point Church, a resident of Chicopee, business owner of Chicopee. In regard to this matter, I don't know who's familiar with Life Point Church. I mean, we're doing a lot of renovations to keep up with everything. We're down to the sign out front, which is over 30 years old. Our initial plan was to give it a facelift where it fits and make it pretty and whatever. We found out that it's not where it should have been 30 years ago.
Okay.
One of our requests is to go digital, like this seems to be the thing in this century. So that's one permit. And the other one is we want to keep it, we don't want to have to interfere with all our handicap parking and all this stuff, so we like to keep it right around the line, bring it in 1 foot.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5 feet in from where it's been for the last 30 years.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay. All right, sir, if you like, have a seat. I'll read the, department reports into the record. Thank you, and, then we'll get some input from, some of our department heads, okay? Thank you. Okay, all right, this is from, Department of Planning and Development. Special permit recommendation at 603 New Ludlow Road, Counselor Balakir. Property is zoned residential A. Relief and waiver of setback requirements for new sign placement from 25 feet to plus or minus 1 foot from the property line requires a special permit under Chapter 275, Section 50, subsection C1. Digital accessory signs in residential A districts require a special permit under Chapter 275, Section 50, subsection C2, lowercase a. Applicant is looking to obtain a special permit for a digital sign with dimensional relief. Signs with visible moving, revolving, or rotating parts, or visible mechanical movement, or any description or other apparent visible movement achieved by electrical, electronic, or mechanical means, and all animated and electronically activated changeable signs except for time, temperature, and date signs require a special permit under Chapter 275, Section 50, subsection C2, lowercase a. Planning sees no issue with the proposed digital sign as well as the relief of setback requirements. Planning recommends approval of the special permit with confirmation that engineering sees no impacts to traffic controls along New Ludlow Road and approval of building department. Okay, we have some other documents here as well. This is a report from the engineering department. Existing sign is within the city right-of-way. Proposed sign location is within the paved parking lot area. No site plan is provided to show site changes to accommodate new sign location. More information is needed. That's from engineering. Fire department, there's no issues there. The city collector, there's no issues here. Okay. What I'd like to do is now, before I open up to the counselors, I'd like to get some input from our department heads that are here. Lee, go ahead, please.
Sure, thank you, Counselor. So this one is very easy for me. This one solves the problem that is existing in that the church's sign is currently within the right-of-way of New Ludlow Road, which obviously is a problem for the city. So it relocates the sign onto the church's property, set back from the property line 1 foot. There is an island that is not shown on the survey plan, but that I'm aware of based on doing other work with the church for some of their site improvements, that essentially would be extended to allow the sign to be relocated. So while I can understand engineering comment regarding not having parking lot layout on the plan, I'm confident that the location that has been surveyed by Ed Chaplain is a location that will work without impacting.
We're gonna ask them. Okay, all right, thank you. Does your assistant have any questions or concerns? Okay, all right, Frank from building, go ahead, sir.
So, George, I've been out to the property and I know where the existing sign is. My only concern is, I don't know if this is gonna be a pole sign with a digital top on it, or if this is gonna have a base to it, because I'm just worried about traffic pulling in and out of the church parking lot, that it's not gonna block anybody's traffic view.
Okay.
It looks like the sign has a base to it. Correct. And where the sign sits now, I pull out of the parking lot, 'cause I've been to the church and pulled out of the parking lot a few times. I'm just worried that if the sign's not set back far enough, it could cause trouble for people pulling out of the church parking lot.
Okay.
That's the only concern I got.
All right, sir, could you come up, please, and address, Frank's, questions or concerns?
As far as pulling in and out of the church, there's two separate driveways. I'm gonna take a guess that it's at least 50 feet away. The old entrance in front of the church had a little horseshoe, because that used to be an entrance to the church that still exists, and then the sign's on an island. The island's gonna grow, and that horseshoe's gonna kind of disappear, and with the new landscape around the front. And again, we have two entrances and exits to the parking lot, totally separate from this area.
Okay, all right, Frank, is that this?
That one
Yeah, it
is-
seems like you answered my question. I just, the plan that when I looked at, I couldn't tell where the sign was really gonna go. But that answers my question.
That was all part of the thing, but until we moved the wiring for the sign, and that's why I wanted to keep it where it was really, all intact as possible.
Okay,
Fully educated me on the rest of it.
okay, all right, thank you, go ahead, sir. All right, all set, Frank? Okay. Are there any butters, or neighbors that, in the audience that have some questions or concerns? Okay, all right, I will go to Zoom. Anybody on Zoom, with the exception of the counselors, that have any questions or concerns? All right, okay. Counselors at the table will start first. Gary, any questions or concerns?
Yeah, I don't have any concerns. They're reputable business, church in the city, and, looks like they're gonna do a good job. The plans are, pretty well laid out. I'm for this, and they're moving it back. Our city planner, is happy about getting it off the right of way and onto their property. So,
Okay. Counselor Zagorowski?
My only question was,
Sorry.
is this gonna be a digital sign?
The center of, there's a full drawing of the sign, there's the paperwork submitted, and in the center of the sign, is a digital platform, if you will.
Okay.
Just decorated.
A follow-up question, is this gonna be static, or is this gonna be one that's gonna be flashing, or is it gonna have like a message?
This is the digital screen right here, the black
Car
part.
wash always flash, you know, just
No,
with the
well,
message
this will
on
be
the
like
front,
a,
it will change.
we can
You know,
change
for all
the
the
message.
weeks, it's not a
Yeah.
flash, it's not a.
Okay, all right, okay,
it has to meet the rules that, it has to stay on there 8 seconds. It can't flash,
right.
you know, more than, you can't change the message every 2-3 seconds or whatever. It has to remain there, so,
Okay, we'll put that in.
Yeah.
Okay, excuse me. Go ahead, sir, one other
Similar to like First Baptist has got, right in the rotary of Chicopee there, with a very well-designed backstop.
Okay, all right, thank you. Excuse me, Mary Beth, did you have a question or comment?
No, I just have a comment. This has been a very successful church in the area, very good neighbor. Nobody's here to say anything negative. The building department seems satisfied, the planning department is satisfied, so my recommendation would be to have something there.
Okay, all right, Mary Beth, thanks. Okay. Any of the counselors on Zoom that have questions or concerns about the, proposal with the Life Point Church new digital sign? Any questions? Okay, all right.
I'm all set,
Okay,
thank
so
you.
okay, all right, thanks. Okay. So it looks like we have two items here that we have to bring up, we have to discuss. We have the special permit with the condition about the digital sign, about the 8-second pause, compliance regarding digital signage. That would be, and then the other question, or the other part to vote on would be the waiver request from the front setback from 25 to plus or minus 1 foot located at 603 New Ludlow Road. Those are my two thoughts with this. So, we could, take the, okay, let's see how, Agnes has this set up. Excuse me one second. Okay, so, the first motion that I would have is, regarding the waiver of the front setback from 25 feet to plus or minus 1 foot. Can I have someone else, make that motion?
I'll make a motion to
Approve?
approve it.
Okay, and then I'll second it, okay? All right.
It'll be with the land, right, with the property.
No, this should be with the applicant.
With the applicant, right.
They have to take it down if they sell the property.
Well, let me check with Dan.
Yeah, just like,
Excuse me, Dan, sidebar, excuse me.
If another church buys it, they'll want the sign.
they're just covering up.
Yeah. They're not,
Well, that's gonna be with the applicant.
with the applicant.
Yes,
Right.
right.
Okay.
Okay, so it's permit.
Or that, and I said, I
Yep.
think we should have that.
Well, usually if it was, say, for example, a bigger project of construction, dollar-wise, then that would probably be with the land, okay?
Oh, we're covered this way.
Okay, so we're gonna do the waiver number 1, front setback from 25 to 1 plus, 1 foot at 03. Okay, so the motion on the floor is a waiver number 1, the front setback from 25 feet to plus or minus 1 foot at 603 New Ludlow Road, all right? Agnes, can you call the roll, please?
Valakir,
Yes.
Kushein,
Yes.
Tania Costello.
Yes.
Lopez,
Councilor Lopez?
Council Lopez?
Out of chair.
Zarowski,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Sorry, I was having unmuting issues. Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, all right, so we'll just sign on this. And then we'll do the special permit. No, thanks, Gary. Scribner. Appreciated. Thank you. Thank you.
Again, you should take it off.
All right. Okay, thank you, Counselor. Okay, so the first, motion that we voted on was the waiver number 1, front setback from 25 to plus or minus 1 foot at 603 New Ludlow Road. This was, voted in favor by all committee members, and this will go before the full city council on, first Tuesday, February 7th, of next month. Okay, all right, so now we'll vote on the special permit. It's a special permit. And so this is gonna be, with the condition that, it's a digital sign with an 8-second delay, and, to be in compliance with digital signage in Chicopee. All right? So Gary,
I'll make a motion to approve.
okay, motion to approve, and I'll second that. Let me just write this up.
It runs with the applicant, okay.
Yes, yes, and then this permit is gonna run with the applicant as well. Yes, just give me a minute here. Okay, special permit with conditions. With conditions,
10 o'clock.
No, we can either. Like price.
That's in phase 2, the new clock.
second delay.
Early? You're right. New clock's in phase 2.
Well, couldn't they adjust these? I'm looking at the clock, but I tried.
We don't do that. Okay, so the special permit is with the conditions of the 8-second delay to be in compliance regarding digital signage regulations in Chicopee. Agnes, could you please call the roll?
Pelletier,
Yes.
Hushain,
Yes.
Pena Costello. Yes. Lopez,
Yes.
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. All right, thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so, the special permit with conditions was voted on regarding an 8-second delay to be in compliance regarding digital signage regulations in Chicopee. This is voted on favorably by the subcommittee, so this will go, Jim, before the full board on, February 7th, before the full board for a final vote, okay? All right, thank you. Okay, all right. Yeah, thank you, you too, be safe. Okay, all right. Items here. Okay. Okay, the next item on the list for the agenda is item number 2, a special permit under Chapter 275, Section 58, subsection E1 for the purpose of installation of a new pole sign. And there's also a waiver, 2 waivers requested. One is a setback from 25 feet to plus or minus half a foot. And the second waiver request is a total sign surface area from 80 square feet to 98 square feet located at 1801 or 1801 Memorial Drive. The applicant is Sign Techniques, Inc., Tracy Janik, Post Office Box 237, Chicopee, Mass. 01021. Would the applicant be here? Okay.
Isn't
Century 21, right?
Yes.
Everybody on Zoom?
Well, actually, there, I have in a butter, but, would they be, excuse me, Agnes? Because, excuse me a second.
what's the name of the company? Century Pools? They've been there forever.
Is there no one here from the Century Pools? Would be. Well, maybe it gets scared from the. No. Okay. All right. can I get a motion on the floor? This is 21st century pools and spas.
There it is, where the fun never stops.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been there forever.
Postpone it to the end of the meeting, we'll take it up again, or postpone it to the February.
Yeah, okay, how about if we, how
They
about it,
wouldn't be here now, it's 8 o'clock.
yeah,
Make a motion to postpone it to the February
22nd
meeting.
Okay, all right, I'll second it, okay. Do we need to take a roll on that?
Yes.
Or, excuse me, do the roll call? Okay, go ahead, Agnes.
Valakir,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Tania Costello, Lopez,
Yes.
Chagall,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Okay, all
I
right.
just want to clarify the motion, it's the February 22nd, 2023 zoning subcommittee.
Okay, I'll write that up. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Probably couldn't get through the snow and the ice.
I know, it's treacherous out there.
We salted our roads today, the side streets
My
though.
side streets. I come by my street, I go, wow, that's quick. But that's the best thing to do, though. Snow hits and melts.
If it's snow.
That place, pool, they've been there for a long time. They've been there forever.
Chicopee City Council. Oh, we just gained a little bit of time. Yeah, I don't know what happened. But Agnes, excuse me, do we have that of butter on or not?
The, Delmarina and Corshane are good with, this, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah, that,
Oh, yeah, they did the roll, yeah. I didn't pay them,
okay.
I didn't bet.
Yeah, well, maybe they get scared off because of this inclement weather.
Maybe,
Wasn't that bad.
you know, we put salt everywhere, but our parking lot was slippery.
Yeah.
Okay, not our parking lot, not yet.
I didn't fall. It was ice when I came in.
Not careful, you don't want to slip.
All right, thanks, Dan.
Crack the
Okay.
sidewalk. Or park on-
Okay, so, the committee voted to postpone to the February 22nd, 2023 zoning subcommittee meeting at Chicopee City Hall, fourth floor, council chambers. All right, okay. All right, moving right along. Okay. All right. Item number 3, special permit under chapter 275, section 63 for the purpose of increasing outside storage in an IPUD type 1 district from 2% to the building footprint to 5%, as set forth in section 275, section 63F5. Waiver requested increase amount of outside storage from 3,021 square feet, 2% to 7,531 square feet, 5%, located at 301 Griffin Road. The applicant is Griffin Road Property Owner LLC, Attorney Peter Schreier, 133 Pearl Street, Boston, Mass. 02110. Okay. All right, let's see. In addition, we also have Equity Industrial Partners Corp., Mike Hoban. Optional are Mark Reardon, Hunter Emerson, and Bruce Levin. Okay. All right, sir. Please state your name and address and what your purpose is, please, or your proposal, excuse me. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, Peter Schreier from Halloran and Sage in Springfield. Our office represents the developer, Griffin Road property owner. I have a few additional plans if you'd like to take them. They just show a little more topography that we've been able to do since the original plans that were delivered to your office with the application. It doesn't change the building, it doesn't change the outdoor storage area as identified, but it does have topography if you want it, you'll find it helpful.
Let me ask you this, sir. Would these in turn become our copies, or are these still your copies?
No, these can be your copies.
Okay.
Absolutely, we have 10.
All right. Okay.
I don't know how many you'd like. You want just the three of you? Yeah. I also have tonight with us representatives of the surveyor.
Give him the lead pull down. Give mine the pull out.
Representative of the owner, as well as representative of the, and I know it's getting late for us. Better?
Okay. You just put them in here. I'm scared.
I'm going to give you a really quick PowerPoint, just so this is. So the developer is GFI Property, the developer is Griffin Road Property Owner. It's run by GFI Property out of Boston. GFI is a regional developer. They've been in business for more than 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
They've got about 15 billion square feet, mostly in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, but really up and down the eastern seaboard and a couple of parcels out west. Right now, they're presently permitting about 10 million square feet just in central Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a decent sized developer that takes it.
Okay.
It's work quite. There we go. That's just that happens to be the team. A gentleman that runs the company is from Western Massachusetts. What it's supposed to do.
There you go.
That just shows you a couple of sample buildings that they operate and projects that are under construction right now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't run a shoddy shop. What they try to do is run high-class buildings, mostly in the commercial and industrial area. They purchased this building last year and have been deciding what to do with it. You know, as a right, what they could do is they could increase the size of the warehouse. But what they found was Universal Forest Products, which operates in Belchertown right now, who makes trusses.
Mm-hmm.
And I love technology. That's an aerial shot of showing the parcel where the building sits right now. It's outlined in orange. A closer shot of it. This is a shot of the Belchertown facility right now.
Okay.
So what they plan to do is, in this building, they're going to construct trusses,
Mm-hmm.
and then the trusses come out a little slit in the building on these rollers, and then they get stacked for a truck to come pick them up. You guys have a outdoor storage regulation that says 2% of the building footprint. You come to city council and go for 5%.
Right.
And of course, you can go to the zoning board of appeals and ask for even larger.
we've done that, it's no secret, everybody, it's just, the way the hearings were scheduled, we were at the ZBA first. And the reason why we're seeking, much greater outdoor storage, and why we're seeking an increase from 2% to 5% with the city council, is that once these trusses are made, they go outside, they need an area to sit, waiting for the truck to pick them up.
Correct.
So outdoor storage typically is, you might, think of a lumber yard, or people that are doing mini storage, or boats and RVs. That's not this. We originally questioned whether this is even outdoor storage, because what it is it's finished goods that are out there waiting for a truck to pick up.
Right.
But they're gonna be there, and they're gonna be there on a temporary basis. There's no permanency involved. To be sure that we did not run afoul of the city's regulations, we contacted Lee when we found the tenant, and the thought was we should come before the ZBA and come before the city council and request that we can increase the storage. So the ZBA has granted us approval. I know that's not binding on you, I just want to make sure we're giving you full information.
Okay.
What we're seeking is, from the city council, the 2% to 5%, which you did for, I believe, it was Cedar Lumber a few years ago. That kind of a problem they had, where you need a place to put the stuff so a truck can come in.
Right.
This is not going to be, I think I have Representative, Universal Forest here tonight, it is not gonna be, scattered with trusses, because what happens is the trusses get made, they go to a building site, they can't charge for them unless they're picked up and unless they leave. So they don't want to stockpile inventory there, so they're not looking to do that.
Okay.
I know under section M of the, special permit regulations, that there's various items that you all need to look at. I believe that we achieved all of those items. This is not going to be, an intrusive use for the site. In fact, they're not gonna blacktop it. You know, if they were gonna do a giant warehouse, they'd blacktop it, you'd have a ton of impervious, surface. There's gonna be some crushed stone so that trucks can go in and pick material up. But the stuff is there on a temporary basis. They may have a forklift out in the yard, moving some of the trusses around. I'm told from Universal Forest that they use propane forklifts, so they're quiet. Our neighbors are, we've got, Ken DeSouza, I know is gonna say something as well, but we've got them on one side, we've got Westover. My guess is any sound that's generated would be totally drowned out by Westover. There's no work, there's not construction work going out in the yard. It's really just, the trusses roll out on the steel rails and on the roller system, and then they get picked up and leave.
Okay.
So there will be trucks in there occasionally. The reason why they need so much space is because the trusses get stacked around the perimeter, and the trucks have to be able to come in, to pick them up. So it's gotta be well-maintained and well-kept, as you can see, in the picture, over there.
Okay.
This is an industrial zone. We could do, you know, what they're doing, as of right. They could be much more intrusive industrial uses. That's not what they want to do. They want to keep the neighborhood, looking well, and operate, in this site. And I think it'll enhance it. They're looking at bringing another 100 employees to the city of Chicopee. Right now, this is just another one of the, you know, a few industrial buildings that have been abandoned. This one, the company went out of business, I believe it's been closed for a year. So the idea is reopen it. Right now, nobody's looking to increase the size of the building because the building works for what they want. They just need the ability to be able to have the product sit out there and wait for the truck to come pick it up. And we would ask that the city council approve it. We think it only enhances the neighborhood. There's no distraction, there's no detraction to the neighborhood. There's not gonna be sound, there's not gonna be smell, there's not gonna be any of those substantial things that a butter could really complain about. There's not gonna be a ton of truck traffic. Right now, they're looking at, and we're gonna end up having to go to site design review with the planning board. So planning will explain to them the trucks are gonna enter from Better Way, they're not gonna be coming in on Griffith. And we think we've done a very good use for the site. We think it helps the city of Chicopee, and we think it helps both the owner of the parcel and the Universal Forest to be able to move that portion of their operation here from Belchertown.
Okay. All right, Peter. Okay, thank you. Are there other people from your group that want to speak? I see here, there's Equity Industrial Partners Corp. Mike Hoban Is he here, or is he? Okay, okay, that is a butter, and it says optional are Mark Reardon, Hunter Emerson, and Bruce Levin, excuse me. Okay, all right. Are there, in the audience here, are you folks, any of you, abutters? Okay, all right, sir, would you please come up? And, Peter, if you could step aside, or if this gentleman you could go to another, you can keep your stuff there, Peter, if you want. If you want, you can have a seat, okay? Please state your name.
Is that all right? You sure can.
Yeah, your name and address, sir, and, what your concerns are. Go ahead, sir.
My name's Ken Vincunis. I run an office out of Agawam, 200 Silver Street. We are the abutter directly across the street. Buildings, 300 Griffith Road, directly across the street from the storage area, and the next one, 318 Griffith Road, with the map, is also directly across the street. So we've got a family business, and we own 1984 Westover Road, we own 1988, 2000 Westover Road, 2140 Westover Road, 2160 Westover Road, 1310 Sheridan Street, 140 Paget Street, 150 Paget Street. These are all at Westover.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is, we like Westover. We're a big part of the city here. We've made big investments in the town. And we like it because of what the park is. We like the security. We like the stability of the zoning.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to take a minute to tell you about something. I don't know, some of you haven't been here as long as I have. I've been at it 35 years. I'd like to remind everyone, back in 1990, Alan Blair and Company made the Air Park North, the city of Chicopee, and there's a declaration of restrictions on development in 1990. And they were pretty certain what they wanted in the parks, similar to the one in Air Park West, but Section 4 is property subject to these restrictions shall not be used for, number 1, agricultural and livestock purposes. Number 2, gasoline and filling stations, repair shops. 3, retail sales as a principal business. 4 is sale of automobiles, trailers. Number 5, above generation, handling, treating, storage, and disposal of hazardous biological and nuclear waste. Above aviation fuels, fuel oils, flammable substances, above asbestos manufacturing, distribution, and storage. Number 5, building material manufacturing and distribution. Outside storage or outside manufacturing operations are required. So, going back to the original intent of what Westover had in mind here is directly against what these folks like. I have nothing against any of these people. They're fine people. I'm pro-business. I'm sure it's going to be a good thing for the park overall.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand that that park at Westover, east, west, everywhere, we have buildings in all 3, is meant to be a high-quality, not outside storage park. That's what it was. That's always what it's been. And we wouldn't even be anywhere near this if it was 3 years ago, but restrictions had expired in 2020, August of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
The park residents could have gotten together and said, we want to extend them, but they've expired. But I just want to make clear that this value of the park, they could have a building, it could be a big warehouse, but it'd be tax base, jobs. To have outside storage, there has to be done right. So I came to talk about that if, in fact, your approval effectively is not about 2% or 5%, it's about permitting them to have this massive expansion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure everybody's aware of how that's working. The variance is in place, but it's subject to this. So this isn't really about 2% or 5%, it's about the massive expansion that they've gotten approved. And if you find a way to do it, and you think that's the right thing for the city, of course, that's your job here. But I think it has to be done right, and I'll ask, I don't know who knows, Lee, or anybody, does this body put on conditions to a special permit, or could the site plan review that's been talked about in the future have certain conditions to it? Such as hours of operation, screening, buffering, some of these things.
Okay, hold on. If, go ahead, Lee.
Sure, I'll take a stab at that. I don't think I've ever seen the council or the planning board, dictate hours of operation for business, but however, if the special permit is granted this evening or at the city council's full next meeting, the next step in the process for this project would be to do full site plan review with the planning board. So all of the planning board, all of the zoning regulations that, dictate development within the IPUD zoning district, as well as the planning board site plan regulations would apply to this site. And if there were unique circumstances that, required some additional condition, the planning board could certainly consider that, to make sure that it works properly. I think the board knows that the planning board and the planning staff are very consistent with their review, of development and expansions. We're no strangers to expansions of existing properties, and we would certainly ensure and recommend to the planning board that all of the site plan regulations be followed, for this project moving forward.
Those are physical parameters of the setbacks and such. You just hear that they'll only have finished goods outside. And for that, that's great. I've been to the Belchertown location, and it's a lot of raw materials, and it's not just finished goods. So if that's what they say it is, I'd like them to keep that. That's better use. Hours of operation are something, I think there are neighbors behind my buildings who are gonna enjoy perhaps late night hours, in the paper is even talking about 2:30 a.m. Someone had volunteered that. So that's something. Outside operations with hours of operations may be unique, but it might be worth considering. And no work outside of hammering and nails and power guns and all of that, and those kind of things that I think of for conditions to a special permit. The one that I think is most important for us at the park, including myself and our tenants in our building, our world-class tenants we have there, is screening from the street. And I appreciate, I spoke to them about coming off of Better Way. I'm all for that, that's great. But I think that has to be a very strong interest, and I'll be at the planning board as well for the hearings, but screening from the street. Maybe we won't even notice it there. And we all like more business in the city, so I'm not against what these people are doing. I just want to make sure it's done with the character that Westover was originally intended to have, and have a good quality park going forward.
Okay, all right, you're all set?
Questions for me?
Not at this point. I mean, perhaps down the road, Lee, we may get involved with something, but we'll see. All right, thank you. Okay, before I open it up to counselors, anybody else in the audience that wants to have some input or have some questions or concerns?
So those are most of the people with us. If you'd like to have any questions for them, they're happy to answer them. I mean, all I would suggest is that we know we have to go to planning, we know we have to do site design review.
Correct.
And I would not like, to have to make decisions now at a special permit hearing for something that we're allowed to do, to get into site and design, because really we're gonna have to do that with the planning board, and I don't wanna take a chance that then this board may say, oh, you should do this, and they're gonna tell us something else, because we're gonna have to ultimately deal with them on site and design review. So I would ask that, you'll agree that we can find this to the 2% to 5%. There is no question it's going to be larger, as approval we got. But there's no restriction on doing what we want to do. There's no restriction that said, you can't have a hammer outside. That's not my understanding of what they want to do. I'm sure at planning, there's going to be parameters they're going to set.
Correct.
As to what we need to do for screening. We want to operate a high-class operation, just like Ken has across the street.
Correct.
It's a perfect location for it. And it's frankly a much less intrusive, operation than we'd be allowed to do as right without coming in for a special permit or without, going to the ZBA. But they don't want to do that. It would be much worse, we think, for the neighborhoods as to what we thought we were going to do is really a giant warehouse, which you could run, you know, a giant warehouse 24/7, 7 days a week.
Right, right.
And there would be trucks in and out. So we think the use works. It definitely is allowed in the area, and we would ask that, we grant the special permit, and then we'll go to site design review and work out what the screening needs to be and things such as that. So
Okay.
we are willing to do that. Thank you.
Okay, Peter, well, all right, one last time, one last time, Ken, okay?
Sort of rebuttal as well, I think that's only fair.
Right, but, okay, but just limited because we're still gonna, and to get some discussion, okay? All right, go ahead.
I just want our neighbor to do what they said they're going to do, and there's no zoning obligation that's gonna keep them from doing certain things. If it's stacking higher than the fence, I don't think we're gonna probably get that. I just wanna make sure if Porter and Chester on the other side of the park, and they come back to get a renewing guarantee of doing what they said they were gonna do. I think for a special permit, something that's untried, that may not exactly match what the zoning and everything intends to do. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but I think there ought to be things that they have to continually do and be subject to review, and not just a one-time site plan review.
Okay, I'm just gonna have a follow-up with you. I'm just gonna mention that under the special permit, we can call it in. Okay, so if there's something, say, for example, hypothetically nefarious, we can call the special permit in and we can address that. So there are some safeguards, there are some caveats there as well, okay?
I was thinking there would be specific conditions where that might apply.
Well, we'll get into it, but okay, Ken, all right, thank you. Okay, before I open it up, is there anybody on Zoom? I just want to, then I'm gonna talk to a couple of counselors and then also with our building people here. Agnes, is there anybody that was on Zoom that we know of? Okay, all right, okay, all right. Okay, all right, Councilor Flem, go ahead before I talk, go ahead.
Thank you. All due respect, I understand we're here for the 2 to 5%, I get that. Leave it up to the planning board, but, I'd like to ask a couple of questions. Yes. Anyways, I trust the planning board to do a good job and doing their job, but for me, when people ask me questions, I don't want answers. So, getting to Better Way here, where is the trucks gonna come in on Better Way? Through the parking lot here?
Yeah, so if it's okay, I'm gonna have
Sure.
either the
Whoever can
engineer
answer.
or, excuse me?
Whoever can answer the question. Can you go to the mic, please? So-
Yes, come to the mic, sir.
I'll be able to hear.
Come to the mic, and we're gonna ask you, please, gentlemen, your name and, your address and, what your title is and what you're gonna talk about, please.
Sounds good. I'm Henry Esteby. I reside at 8 Simons Road in Massachusetts. My title is asset management. So the trucks will be coming in from the parking lot, not off Surface Road,
So you're coming within the 24 feet of the parking lot?
off of Better Way.
That way, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I didn't say you were, I said that.
Right.
I have a question.
Did
Right
you
here,
go by
this
this
parking
one?
lot? The tractor trailers are gonna come in this parking lot?
No.
Right, they don't make that.
Look at it, do it.
No, they're gonna, I think they're gonna make them.
Yeah, I know,
Good time.
I get that, but I still have, I just wanna answer.
No, that's a big
And
building.
then,
This doesn't do justice, Gary, but that's a big building.
It's a big building. But my understanding is they're gonna build the trusses in there and then put them outside for people.
From behind the building in Chicopee.
Yeah.
Is on Griffin Road, right here.
That's my understanding from reading.
We can ask,
Big building.
yeah,
And you're the gentleman that's.
I wanna get building and I wanna get,
And I had his concerns, I just wanted to make sure that, we understand his concern, because again, that's, Westover Road is like a prime area of, businesses and development, that it's always been nice when you drive over, everybody has beautiful lawns and beautiful places. And it would just, I would like to see it stay that way too, and I'm not saying you're not gonna do that, but I echo his concern about the property, so I have no problem, approving tonight, because I know planning board will take it over and meet the requirements that are. Thank you.
And just to add to your point, we fully intend to keep in the.
Sure.
And then also,
That'll
fences for any, but.
Yeah, thank you.
oh, say Councilor Flam? Okay, Councilor Bree, go
Yes,
ahead.
I'd just like to ask a question on, there's a little confusion. You're gonna build the trusses in the building?
trusses get built in the building.
Okay, so it's not gonna be a, you know, a warehouse, and then you're gonna bring them out when somebody's gonna put them up?
Trusses go out in the building, correct. They go through the slit, they go out on the roller, and they're done.
So,
Yes.
okay, so the building predominantly will be used for building the trucks?
Okay, all right. Oh, Secretary?
That's it, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Mary Beth, go ahead.
Thank you. I did get opposition. There is concern in the neighborhood, because if you look at it, this is a lot of houses in earshot of this. Look at it, you've got, Riviera Drive, Dean Street, Hampton Street, Old Line Road, Marcy Avenue, Hampton Street, Watts Avenue. So there are a lot of homes, a lot of residential homes in use on this particular zone. If you look at it, it's very close. Boxed off, and there's homes right there. Now we're bringing in the trucks according to some of the, you said something about Better Way. Are you gonna put the trucks on Better Way, is that what it is? But they're eventually,
The plan is to come in at the entrance.
This used to be a wire place.
okay.
Yeah, I know.
But to get to and from, they're gonna have to go down Griffith Avenue, that's right?
So I haven't read the.
Okay, so it goes down Griffith Avenue, and then it empties into, a lot of development as well. Shelter School, Golden School.
I can tell you this, we're talking, you know, fewer vehicles per day.
How many
Then it
trucks
was-
will go?
I don't know.
Okay.
Any idea how many trucks would be, roughly?
Probably 5, 6.
5 or 6.
You know, as opposed to a 20 truck warehouse where they could go all day. So this is really gonna be less than what we originally anticipated.
But there's no question it's in your shop. No question.
Isn't that the
Because
same problem with the entire industrial, I'm not arguing the point, I'm just saying, isn't that because it's all an industrial zone?
Well, right now, in all fairness, I've never gotten complaints, nor have I heard any real sound, except maybe once in a while. But again, the sound stopped around 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I was told that there's going to be people there working until 2:30 in the morning. That was in the, Mass
We
Live
have somebody here
article.
from the company if you want, from the
Yeah.
tenant, because,
Okay.
right, because the newspaper says what the newspaper wants to say.
Well, I can't say that.
Okay, hold on a second, guys. Let this gentleman come in. Please state your name, your address, and what your position is, and what you're gonna discuss, please. Go ahead, sir.
So, my name is David Forrest, I am the Director of Operations for the current Belchertown facility. I currently reside at 6644 Pine Ridge Road in Auburn, New York. So, in regards to your question, we'll have 2 shifts there. Second shift will end at about midnight. Second shift will be 100% inside. There will be no loading, unloading trucks or truck traffic after 5 p.m.
Most people would prefer to have 9 o'clock as the last time of employment, okay? They're uncomfortable, because there's so much residential property there, right around there. There's children, and if you go on the other side, there's a military housing, and there's your condo on Jamestown, freestanding condo. So there's a lot of residential area. Now, the military housing, in that top part, you can't really see, but it's near there. Military owned by the government, and then next to that is Jamestown. Across the street is Seltzer School, Golden School. And then there's condos across the street. So there are a lot of residents in this area near this particular industrial park. So I'm just sharing the concerns of the taxpayer.
No, we appreciate it, and this may actually help them a little bit, so I was just asking the question because I wasn't sure. My understanding now from speaking with him is that the assembly of the trusses in the building is not a noisy, banging, pounding operation like a heavy industrial use that you might otherwise be able to have there. So, you address it better than me. Yeah, I mean, there's not gonna be noise theoretically leaving.
Can I go to your place and listen in Belchertown?
You can, but it's gonna be different, because we do different things in Belchertown that we're not gonna be doing in Chicopee.
Is it gonna be more custom, where they're custom ordered trusses, they're not gonna, somebody is the last, at the zoning board of appeals here. Whole, panoply of devices they make in Belchertown, that's not the goal of Chicopee.
Would that change? Would you ever decide to change the manufacturing operation similar to Belchertown?
Say again?
I'm gonna address it only because I just don't know, so, again, we represent the developer. I don't know that you can ask somebody that they'll never change their operation because the world could change, but from the person who was here at the last hearing said, no, we're making custom trusses, that's what this is being designed for, to bring these employees in to do this. I wouldn't want to agree to a special permit and say they could never change their business because they're not gonna rent the real estate from us then.
So there is concern in regards to noise, and there is concerns in regards to the hours of operation.
I understand.
Okay.
And
I'll tell you, 12 o'clock is late.
Consideration.
If you got children, if you got senior citizens or whatever, people have to go to work, 12 o'clock is late. I don't know what the shift is for the other manufacturing, buildings out there. There's strict codes, even with Westover Air Force Base. But you did make a comment about the noise, and that Westover would take a factor into the noise. Does that mean that Westover generates more noise than this?
By far. Have to, I mean, the C-130s?
They're not, they don't, it's not that
If I may
much.
ask, where are, when
Okay.
you refer to noise generation, where are you expecting that? Outdoor storage area here?
Excuse me, guys, sir, if you're gonna jump in, you have to come up to the mic,
No.
and you have to redress your name and, okay, and your address and what you're gonna talk about, okay? So let's keep order, please. Go ahead.
My apologies. Henry S.B., Simons Road, Winchester, Mass. 01990, VP of Asset Management. I just want more clarification, than noise.
I just want to make sure that noise isn't going to be a factor.
Yeah, so in the outdoor storage area, I believe there's gonna be 2 forklifts outlets. A forklift, the noise that comes from a propane generated forklift, 68 to 72 decibels. That is a forklift. So if that's being generated at the corner of the site, 350 yards from a residential neighborhood, by trees, I don't think it's gonna get.
How many trees there? Pretty open. So, I'm just sharing the concern.
No, we appreciate that.
Right.
We want
Okay.
it to work well. The
Yeah,
context.
right.
Okay.
We want it to work.
But in all fairness, Westover doesn't generate that much noise.
Again, and I suppose planning could say, you know, we want to ensure that you're using propane forklifts, not diesel forklifts.
All right, Mary Beth? Okay,
We appreciate the input, we want to be, these guys are gonna come to spend a lot of money here, they want to be a good part of the Chicopee.
okay. All right, Peter, thanks. One thing I want to do is, I want to read the departmental reports into the record, and just final thoughts from building and planning before we have further discussion, okay? All right, so, this is from engineering. Let me just read this report. It said, the addition of the proposed, 31,198 square foot concrete pad as shown on the included plans must go through full site plan review. Engineering department comments, reserved for site plan review process. Okay, thank you, Gary. I had to check on that word. Okay, so this is from fire. This is a comment from the fire department. It says, this property is currently vacant. What is the reason for increasing outside storage and what items will be stored there? We did get an answer tonight. Let's see, this is from Planning and Conservation, this is from Lee. I'll read his comment. Special permit waiver for increased outside storage for 301 Griffin Road. Council Balakir, property is zoned Garden Industrial Plan Unit Development, IPUD, Type 1. Increasing outside storage square footage from 2% of the principal building footprint to 5% requires a special permit under Chapter 275, Section 63, subsection F5, which may be issued on a parcel-by-parcel basis. Zoning Board of Appeals has received a request for additional relief to facilitate reuse of this vacant industrial property. Zoning Board of Appeals will be unable to act until City Council has made decision regarding special permit. Planning recommends approval of special permit. The City Collector had no comments. Okay, so I just wanted to read those into the record. And, Frank, I'm gonna ask for your input, any input at this point in time. Okay? Lee, further thoughts, at this point, please?
Yes, this is a simple matter for me. This is a vacant industrial building. You all know how I feel about vacant properties in this city. Over time, they become a problem and a headache. So quite honestly, the fact that we have a potential tenant that is looking to expand their business and bring new jobs to the city, revitalize the existing buildings, and do an expansion to support their operations makes complete sense to me, for what the zoning is in this area. I'm very confident that we have stringent enough zoning regulations and site plan regulations that we can come up with a plan that's both appropriate and acceptable, for this area. And, you know, there are other realities that we have to accept with this being an industrial park.
Correct.
Any project that goes here is
Correct.
going to generate some traffic.
Correct.
Any project that goes here is gonna generate some level of noise. It just is. It's an industrial park. If you review the zoning code, the allowable uses are there, and I can guarantee you there are much more intensive, detrimental uses that could go here without a problem. The applicant is correct. They could do a building expansion, but based on my understanding and the presentation that we received through the Board of Appeals, this seems like a less intensive, more appropriate way to allow this business to function here in the city. So, you know, from my standpoint, this building has been vacant for a year. We have a viable tenant that's looking to grow and bring new jobs to the city. There's no hiding that the city can benefit from increased tax revenue. Where I sit, this is a simple decision.
Thank you. As a follow-up, Zoning Board of Appeals,
Yes.
clarification. Have they had the meeting yet, or they haven't had the meeting
They
yet?
have had their meeting,
Okay.
they did grant a special permit, a variance, but their variance is contingent upon the council granting the increase from 2% to 5%. The variance only applies to the storage above 5% because the first remedy that's spelled out in the zoning code is to ask for a special permit for the increase from 2% to 5%. So effectively, without the special permit, their variance doesn't apply.
Okay.
They really need this, to make the variance valid.
Okay, thank you for the clarification, because I'm reviewing the notes and getting ready for this meeting. I saw that, so I said I needed a little further edification
Yeah,
on
maybe
it.
we thought maybe the board would have, tabled until the council had made their decision, but they decided to just put a condition on their variance instead.
Okay,
To make the process
All right.
more efficient.
okay, great. All right, thank you. Okay, thanks. All right, that helps me a little bit, plus I wanted to get these reports written into the record, or read into the record. Okay. Fellow councilors.
Yeah.
Councilor Bree, go ahead.
Yes, I just have a question. On the special permit, you know, I believe we can call it in if, they have a noise problem.
Correct.
I don't think we even have to put it as a condition. It's part of, the special permit processing. You know, Lee's right. I mean, you know, the building's been vacant for a year. You know, it'd be great to have a good tenant. and I know their, operation, in Belchertown. I know where it is, and, it's right on the train tracks, and, you know, this is just gonna be an addition. They've been in business a long time, and I think, you know, they'll continue to be in business, and, you know, people are going with trusses. You don't see many, buildings going up these days without, you know, trusses, and, you know, it's easier, it's more strong, it meets the codes. I'm in favor of it, and I know the Ward 9 counselor has a, you know, a noise, you know, some of the neighbors have concerns, but I think that's addressed in the special permitting processing, and that's why they're here tonight, you know, so, I'd like to see them get a special permit, and we can get a tenant in that building.
Okay, all right, Counselor Bree, thank you. Counselor Zagorowski?
I'm all set.
Any questions or comments? Okay, any of the counselors on Zoom with questions or concerns, before we get to the motion status? Counselor Lopez, any questions or concerns?
Yeah, I just want to say that the concerns that the residents nearby that nearly abut the property have about noise are very valid. And I stand with Councilor Costello on that. However, I agree with Lee that I'm very happy to see a viable tenant come in. That brings great business to the city, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the tax revenue being brought into the city. And I also know that there is an ability for us to recall the permit. And so because of the ability to recall the permit if necessary, I'm in favor of this, but I do want to be very frank with the applicant that, you know, we will take it serious. If abutters complain to us, I will take it serious. I know Councilor Costello and the rest of us will take it very serious if they do complain about the noise or about unusual amount of vehicles coming in and out, or about the hours, or whatever the concerns are. We will take them serious. So we hope that you will be good tenants and good neighbors to the neighborhood. And thank you for bringing your business to the city.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other counselors on Zoom that have questions or concerns at this point?
I just want to know, this is unusual, but I was wondering if,
Go ahead.
based on the conversations and the dialogues and the recommendations, and even the body language, I would like, if you can, this is up to you, if the gentleman that first came in, that has tremendous knowledge of the Westover Air Park, going back to Alan Blair in 1990, if I could just have any comments from him in regards to what he's heard and what he sees. Can I have him just make some more comments in regards to that? He's taken the time.
Just a couple of minutes, please, so that we don't get into a long dissertation. Ken, go ahead. I will, because it's the ward counselor, I will grant that for.
Basically, this is in
Go
Ward
ahead.
6, but Ward 9 and Ward 6 has a lot of residential area.
So what do I have to say after hearing all of that?
Yes, I would like.
And I think it can be done right. I said this to you before the meeting, and there's clearly a strong company, they've got a good reputation. I went to Belchertown, and I'll say stacking of the wood was, as you'll ever see, it was very neat. I just have to protect my properties, and everybody should. If we have a problem at Air Park West with outside storage, that's gonna come to the front too, because I wanna make sure we have the best park we can have. After all these years trying to build these nice things, we shouldn't let it get away. I do hear good things out of the proponents here, and I look forward to being a good neighbor with them.
So then, basically, as an abutter, and as an extremely, probably the most knowledgeable person in the room in regards to the development of that air park, since you've been involved since 1990, what's your recommendation?
I have to say, I do think it's recommendation. I had a property that was next to high tech or manufacturing, sure you could do worse than this, but you can also do a lot better than what they're proposing too. So to have that use there, I do think it will diminish somewhat the value of that park. Unless it's fully screened, unless there's a 40-foot buffer of trees and it can't even notice. If that's the case, I think it's probably just fine. But if it's gonna have an impact and I have to sell the buildings across the street harder, oh, there's a guy across the street with, you know, dirt and dust flying, and they've got, I don't know what they've got. It might be that much harder to sell, but you can only guess.
Okay.
I think it might be a marginal difference, but, as long as it's done right, I think it could
Okay.
be no factor at all.
Okay, Mary Beth, does that help you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, all right, thank
I
you.
hope it's informative for everybody in the room.
Okay, Ken, I think there's one other quick question. Counselor Sigarowski, go ahead.
Now, you've been at this since 1990? Is that what you told us before? 88?
Wow.
That's a long time. The company that was there before, they were manufacturing tubes or sort of,
And wire,
Wire.
harnesses and, communication wire.
did you ever have a problem with noise level up there?
No, they're all indoors.
All indoor, and this is gonna be mainly indoors, except when they roll them out and put them out there. Okay, thank you.
That's the goal.
Thank you.
Okay, any other, okay? All right, Ken, I think you're all set. Okay. All right then, folks. Okay, interesting discussion. All right, so we have two items here that we need to, discuss / vote on. The first one on the agenda is the waiver number 1. Increase amount of outside storage from 3,021 square feet, 2%, to 7,531 square feet, to 5%. We've had an interesting discussion from, both sides, so to speak. And, what is the will of the committee at this point?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Okay, all right, and, I'll second that, okay? So this is, motion is a waiver to, increase the amount of outside storage from 3,021 square feet, 2%, to 7,531 square feet, 5%, properly located at 301 Griffin Road.
Do you have a copy of this?
Gave it to Frank.
We usually want to save this.
Fold it up. It's a big building.
Huge, I've seen it.
Okay, I guess, can you, call the roll, please?
Yeah, the work's inside.
Yes.
Hushain,
Yes.
Tania Costello,
I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
Lopez,
Yes.
Sigarowski,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
And
Okay.
the reason for the abstention is before our meeting, February 7th, I just want to travel out to Belchertown and get a view of the operation and how it's conducted.
Okay,
That would be the reason for this.
all right.
I want to be as thorough as I can with this.
Okay, Counselor, all right, thank you. All right, we're just gonna have people sign, and we'll see what the, vote looks like, okay? Well, I think they said yes.
Okay.
They said yes. And then,
She doesn't have to sign it.
okay,
She abstained.
Dan says she doesn't have to sign it.
okay,
Should we mark it though?
okay, all right. Okay, so, the, subcommittee voted, increase the amount of outside storage from 2% to 5%, property located at 301 Griffin Road. We had one abstention. The other counselors were in favor. And this will go before the full board on February, 7th, Tuesday, for final vote, okay? And let me just ask counsel for a minute, please, the question.
I think we should be, if she abstained, we should have it written down there. We don't have to,
He's asking him that now.
I would think we should.
I don't think she should abstain.
Great. I know where that is, but I've never seen the operation of Belchertown, but I think Ben Bynum I had.
Go down the railroad. Yeah, go over the railroad, it's right there, yeah. I got a little camp there. I'm flying actually, but, very little noise, you know.
They put a camp there.
Americana, huh?
Oh, that's not.
Americana, yeah.
What's the fact? And that guy has been there since 1980, said they never had trouble with the tube place, so the tube wiring.
Yeah.
I would think that would generate noise.
Right.
C5s and they take off, they're still loud.
They can work 3 shifts if they want. We can't limit those shifts. We can't tell them. Okay.
You have to come in, you know.
Will the full council, want attendance to speak with people, or is it just a vote? They might, because if they might, we'll all be there.
Well, I suppose, you have that option, Peter, but typically it's a vote. It's a vote, but there may be some other counselors that may have a question or two. So it's, I believe it's up to you if you want to show up.
But they do have the ability, if we were there, to ask questions.
So it might behoove you just to be on the safe side, if that's your thinking, okay?
Could go on Zoom also, you know, if you wanted to. Right.
Okay. Okay, so I had a discussion with, council regarding the special permit. And, the motion which we should make on the floor would be a special permit, with the condition of the SPRAC review being met, okay? Because this way here, we would be covering our bases, and, we're much better off to put that caveat in there, okay? Yes. Yeah, the special permit, would be granted, with the, providing there's the condition of the SPRAC review being met.
Site plan review.
Oh, site plan.
Yes, okay, so I think that we're better off, all of us, in order to do that. So, that's the motion that I'm gonna entertain. Could I have, Gary or Bob, could you?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to, approve that.
Okay, and I'll second it, okay? All right. Special permit to be granted.
They're limited on 2 shifts. If you want to do a third one, you could just do it.
See why not? A lot of companies.
I don't.
Yeah. We have a lot of companies in Chicopee. Look at look at Spalding, Callaway, you know, right? 3 shifts.
You worked inside though. They work outside. They roll them down that thing.
The Greenfield Police, 2 shifts. Greenfield Police now, 2 shifts.
They could get.
Okay. About that. Council meeting 3 tonight.
Okay, so the special permit is to be granted with the condition of the SPRAC review being met. Agnes, can you please, call the roll, please?
Pelletier,
Yes.
Boucher,
Yes.
Costello, Lopez,
Yes.
Zarowski,
Yes.
Lebrun.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so we'll sign off on this, and we'll see what it looks like. We'll let it go. Okay. I said I was gonna be home by 8:30, but I was ambitious.
I told my wife I'd be late.
12 o'clock, Gary.
She has a crock pot though.
Oh, you're lucky.
Pot.
I come over. Stop off and I'll bring some wine.
She said the meat came out a little rough, but she said it's good potatoes and carrots.
Okay. All right. All right, okay. Yeah, folks, if you just bear with me for another minute, and then, we'll wrap you up, okay, wrap things up. Okay. So the motion on the floor was the special permit was to be granted with the condition of the SPRAC review being met, and, the subcommittee voted in favor. However, this goes before the full council on February 7th, Tuesday, all right?
Thank you.
All right, okay, thanks, folks, for your patience. I know it's been a long night, but thank you, all right? Thanks for your input.
10 o'clock.
Okay, no, that's not true. That is only, it's 8:57. That's fast.
That clock is working too.
Yeah, but it's wrong.
Why can't they just adjust?
Okay. Is, the next one gonna be here? Okay, so, all right, we have 2 items left, folks. So, we're gonna have item number 5, right? Special permit under chapter 275, section 9, for the purpose of installing small wireless facility on existing utility pole under chapter 277, location 56 Foss Avenue. Applicant is Selco Partnership, DBA Verizon Wireless, 1441 Main Street, Suite 1100, Springfield, Mass. 01103. We received, a letter that I'm going to read into the record, and this is going to be quick. Okay, this is from, the law office of Schatz, Schwartz, and Fenton. This is regarding Verizon Wireless proposed small cell installation at 56 Foss Avenue. Dear Chairman Balakir, after further review by Verizon Wireless of its submission of its special permit application for the installation of wireless communications equipment at the above location, the company has decided to withdraw its application. We request that the City Council allow this withdrawal without prejudice. Verizon Wireless has concluded this project can no longer be funded in 2023. We thank you for your consideration of our application and hope to find an alternative location for such installation sometime in the future. Sincerely, Michael A. Fenton, authorized agent for Verizon Wireless. So in light of this, I'd like to make the motion to accept the application to withdraw.
I'll make the motion.
I'll make the motion. Oh, never mind.
Okay, and I will second it, okay? So, all right, I'll write this up, and then Agnes will call the roll, so just bear with me for a minute, please. Okay, Agnes, can you, call the roll, please?
Bear,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Mia Costello. Yes. Lopez,
Yes.
Zarowski,
Yes.
Longley.
Yes. Okay. All right. We're almost there, guys.
Did a good job with the meeting, George.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're almost done. We're not quite there yet. There may be some stragglers, so hold that comment.
The police will be back.
Well, we brought them in because
That was smart.
it was a smart move on my part. Thank you. Thank you.
You mean you were afraid of that guy?
I didn't say that, but you know what? We're trying to be, good people and do things, expeditiously and without problems, so.
What's that thing that one counselor says? If you see something, say something along those lines. I think that's what you did today, Counselor Balakir.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I took the bull by the horns and I was just trying to, how should I say, mitigate potential trouble, so.
Yeah, I think Counselor Zagorowski could get behind that.
All right, thank you.
When you show up at the meeting.
Okay, so, this was passed, the motion was granted to accept the application to withdraw, and this will go before the full board. All right, so finally, 2 other things. Motion to accept the minutes of November 30th, 2022.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, and the motion pass. All right.
Roll call.
Oh, roll call, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon.
Pelletier,
Yes.
Hushain,
Yes.
Pena Costello, Lopez,
Yes.
Federowski.
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Okay, and the motion passes. And one final thing, motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion too.
All right, and I'll second it. Okay, Agnes, please call the roll.
Pelletier,
Yes.
Hushain,
Yes.
Pena Costello. Lopez,
Yes.
Federowski.
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
And the motion passes. Thank you very much for your help. You got this.